So let's record this. Yep. So as you can see, we can see my virtual machine. So I have, I think, about 3 machines powered on, right? You can see a Windows 10 machine here, powered up, right? You can also see my EH Forensics powered up, and then the Ubuntu also powered up. So I have 3 operating systems powered up. I'll be working on this guy, right? The EH Forensics. And okay, let me assume this is my machine, right? This is my computer system that I'm sitting on using Kali, right? So just like I told us, first of all, we'll do information gathering. We can do that by sweeping the network, right? Just like when we learned about ping sweeping, right? We can do that by sweeping the network to see all of the IP addresses that are there, right? Another way we can do that is to also look at what is our own IP address, right? And then understand the network in which we are sitting on. So this is our IP address, and we definitely know is a class C IP address, right? So I don't know, because I believe this class is a class that most of us know all of these things, right? So this is our IP address and it's class C. We can also do net discover, just like we told us the other day, to see all of the guys sitting on the same network with us, right? We need to use the sudo in front of that, right? To do that. You can also do that to determine all of the network. Note that this network is 194. This PC I am sitting on is 194. So you can see there is 100, right? And if you look here, if you look up here, you notice how the scanning is done. So it's scanning this /16. Definitely, we all know /16 most times are class B IP address, right? When you see /8, class A, /B, /16 class B, /32 class C, and so on and so forth. So I think that is another topic, is a topic for another day. That's networking, right? So if I do this and I notice that my net discover is scanning all through this class of IP address, through the whole range of class C IP address, I can still go ahead and then launch my Nmap to scan something like this. I can go ahead and do something like this. All of these things are how you can gather information, right? And you know, in some contexts, you look at information gathering, you see it as reconnaissance, right? So they'll just have reconnaissance gaining access. So both the information gathering that we are doing, whether passive or active, that you're using your ping to get, that you're actually going to websites to know what and what they do and all of these things, using your net to discover to do all of those things. Aside that we are doing, right? You can actually do the both of them together, both the scanning and the other information gathering together. But when you're doing it with scanning, we refer to that as active gathering, right? So you can see my net discover has given me almost, I think, about 4 IP addresses. And if you notice, I have all of them powered on, including the system I am sitting on, right? You can see that there are about 4 of them there. And I think it's still loading. So if I want to carry out, you know, my Nmap on this 4 IP address also, I can still do something like this. Nmap, right? Dash, let's say A for OS detection, right? Dash SS for scene detection. And I told us, if you don't know some of these commands we are using, just do man nmap, or you do nmap help, or nmap dash help, right? Dash h rather. And it will give you some of the stuffs, right? Now, notice that the class of IP address is this, right? The class of IP address is somewhere around this, 192.168. You know, this is determined based on the IP address we are sitting on. based on the IP address we are sitting on. Let's do that and see. I want to do it limiting only to the IP address we are sitting on, right? Let's do if config to see. We are sitting on, the network we are sitting on is .70, right? So .70.0, we can do that. We can say, okay, nmap dash a dash ss, right? Then let's call this, let's do this 192.168.0/32. I'm doing this because I don't want it to go through a class B protocol, because what it's doing here is actually going through the network range of a class B. That's why you see it have 16. In a class B network, have over, or if we are using that of class B, we'll be scanning over 4 million networks. I think it's up to that, right? Let's see, 254 raised to power 254. Okay, I don't think it's up to that. That should be about in 254 is about, somebody can do the mathematics. So that is the amount of network. I think that should be about 655 also. So, but 32 is to limit it to the class C that it is. So if we do this, what we are doing is we are telling Nmap to scan this range of network only, not to extend it to what is happening here on Net Discover, because what is happening here on Net Discover is scanning through a lot of IP addresses, right? But if you notice what it has picked, you notice that the network ID is on 70. So if we are scanning this, we use this to scan that. So let's go ahead and press enter. Okay, so we need a root privilege. So let's do our sudo. So anytime you run and you need a root privilege, you just add sudo in front of it, right? Okay, so it said, okay, who's seems down? If it's really up, okay, we can use -pn. So let's add that to force the scan. Let's wait for that to come up. Okay, nmap done, IP address this, that. Okay, let's do this. Let's use 16. Want to scan network instead of using network discover and picking them. But others also, we can still go ahead and pick out these IP addresses that are here and push it into a list, right? And we can still be calling that when we are doing our scan. So we can still do this while that is coming up. Let's go ahead and then push this into a text file, right? So let's open Nano. Let's say this Nano should be, let me enlarge this. We can open Nano and say, okay, Nano, we are creating a file here, list.txt, right? Now we are creating a file, and let's say this list has 192.168.70.100. I'm just pushing this IP address into this. So even if you do your IP your ping sweeper, you can use it to get all of this IP address also. 70.63. 192.168. So let's save this and exit. So we have created a file. So the file is here, list.txt. So we'll be using that also. This guy is still loading. So while we wait for it to load, we can go ahead and then shoot our Nmap, right? Since we have this, we can also close this guy and do this. So I want us, while waiting for Nmap to carry out that scan, let's still go ahead and shoot and use another method, right? So we can decide to say, okay, we have the file list.txt. So you remember when you do your man Nmap, right? It gives us a lot of instructions on how to use Nmap, right? Now, what we want to do is you can see an example of how to use Nmap. So we want to see how we add a list, right? How we add the list. Remember what we did the other day, we showed us how to use the list. We say you write -il, right? So to input a file, right? So this is what I want to show us, right? So when you manage, this is input file name. So you can, if you want to, since we have a file created already, we'll use this command or this option to call in the file name, right? So we can go and do nmap, right? Let's use our commands -a -s, right? And we do -il list.txt, right? -pn. Okay, remember always when you want to carry out this scan, if you are not root, it will tell you that you don't have the permission to do that, right? So we can wait for those scans to be carried out or to run itself. And let's see the results that they will have, right? So while we wait for those scans, now there are other things that Nmap comes with. As a matter of fact, just like I told us the other day, in some hacking experiences or exhibition, you can use Nmap in doing everything that you need to do. You don't even need other tools because Nmap comes as a suite of tools. Now, there are several scripts, just like I told us about the things we created, and it's a script. That is how Nmap has, a database of several other scripts that you can actually use to either carry out an assessment or an exploitation, right? To scan for vulnerabilities. So we are going to be looking at one of the Nmap scripts, right, that we're going to use. So even if you type that man Nmap and you scroll around it, you will see that you can also go to the Nmap website, right, and look at that, right? So we call it the Nmap security engine, right? So this is where Nmap has all of its database that you can actually make use of. You can see its libraries, right? You can see its scripts, libraries, and all whatnot. So this is the site. You can go to nmap.org, then you navigate to NSE doc, right? Nmap security engine document, right? Normally, nmap.org is the website where we downloaded our Nmap, right? So you can just search for Nmap NSE and it will take you here, right? So when you come, you can see the Nmap NSE doc, you can see their portal documentation, API, tutorials if you want to learn, and then you can see scripts. So like I told us, we want to look at all of this or some of the scripts or a script that can help us, carry out some of our attacks that we want to carry out on that, on our target machine, right? And we'll be looking at SMB, server mailbox. That's what SMB stands for. So we'll be looking at a scanner that we can use. So all of these are actually scripts that you can use with Nmap, and I'm going to show us how to use them. I want to do an SMB enum domains. Okay, no. So let's do users enumeration, brute force, SMMP info. No. Let's see, we will just look for one of them here and make use of, right? Okay, maybe I'll use this. I'll use this or any of this so that we can see how it is used. So let's go and see what is happening in our machine. Okay, yeah. So I think this one has finished scanning. This is taking much time because it's going to scan through a lot of IP address. But this guy has finished its scan, right? Took him 7 minutes, right? So to scan through. So let's look at all that it has given us. This is our command. I believe we can all see my screen and see it clearly. Let me enlarge it a little, right? This guy can just wait by the side. So let's look at this. Let's look at it. So this is where our Nmap starts. So it picks the first IP address, which is .100, right? And it's telling us what? Port 53 is open, showing DNS MAC, right? Bind this, this is the MAC address, no exact operating system. Okay, TCP fingerprint. This is the TCP fingerprint. Okay, so this is a TCP fingerprint. Network distance 1 hop, right? And this is a trace route. So I think this should be the Windows machine, our Windows machine that we are sitting on, right? So it's telling us, it's giving us a trace route. Nmap, so I hope it's up. This, let me see. Okay, this is another machine. Okay, so the first machine stops here, right? So this machine, I believe, is our virtual machine itself, the virtual box, right? So then it moves to scan number 63, right? And it's showing us information about it. So we have these 3 ports open, right? Okay, so this is the Oracle VirtualBox NIC, the Oracle VM itself. I think this is it, right? So these are the 3 ports that are open in it. It's running for general purpose, running Microsoft Windows 10, right? So you can see all the informations. So this is what is more important to us, the scripts, right? The scripts are what is important to us, the host script results. So it is running SMB2, right? Okay, it's running this, it's also running this. So that is why we want to do SMB enumeration. It's also running this, right? And this. Okay, so this is a trace route, also 1 hop. And the scan for 116 is also, these are the results. Port 80 is open. Please mute your mic. Port 80 is open. And this is what is running on it. Also sitting on Oracle VM, but it's a Linux machine, right? So this is our Linux machine. The other one we saw is a Windows machine. 239 also is another Windows machine. So you can see the Windows machines we have here are Windows machine for my system, the actual machine I'm sitting on, the host machine. And this is the other Windows machine. This is the other Windows machine. Please endeavor to always mute your mic, please. Right? This is a scan for the other Windows machine, and these are all the ports that are open. Right? And these are the services that are running on them. So you can see you have gathered a lot of information about this, right? So it's guessing that this is Microsoft Windows SP, right? So we will just, okay, it's running SMB also. So we'll just go ahead and then carry out an Nmap script scan on that list also to see who is open towards attack, right? So let's do this. Let's do Nmap. So if you want to use a script, you do this, right? So if you're man, you see how to use a script. So you can do this and then pick a script name that you want to write. So for instance, like I told us, we'll be using, let's look for this script. We'll be using, okay, let's try this SMB vulnerability. We want to check for this vulnerability, right? So let's look for the MS07 or 08 67 vulnerability, or we look for the MS17 010 vulnerability. So let's try one of them. SMB SMB-1-MS 07. So let's see if this is it. Okay. So we are using this, we are trying to use this MS17 10. The 10. So this on our IL. So let's do our list.txt. So we want to check for vulnerability of all the IP addresses on that list. We want to check if the IP addresses on this list have this vulnerability, since we have discovered that it's running SMB. At least some of them are running an SMB, right? So we want to try this script on that. So this script is, like I told us, is a database, is in the database of Nmap. And all these scripts you are seeing here on the Nmap NSE are actually scripts that can be used for testing of whatever you want to do, SMTP brutes. So if you discover that it's running SMTP, you can do any of them, and SMB listing, SMB flood, users enumeration, you want to enumerate users, right? So there are a lot of things you can do with this, right? So let's wait for that to come. I'll go ahead and stop this guy because it is actually taking a lot of time. So while we wait for the other guy to come, let's go ahead and hit up our Metasploit console. Okay. Well, before that, I think this guy has opened, and we can see we have this all of this, right? So you can see the results that we got um, from this IP address. You know, it has been able to sieve out the results for us, right? But I think this is where our key interest is. You can see all of them open, and these are the services that it is running, right? These are the services that are running. So we can go ahead with our MSF console and try to fire on this, because this actually has a lot of things we are looking for and a lot of ports that are open, right? So we can go ahead and fire on this IP address. So before I do this, let me do system. What I'm trying to do now is to see how we can start. Okay, let me go ahead and start our MSF console. So wait for it to come up so that we can fire it. We have had this. So this is our target machine. We are assuming that we have carried out, several tasks or several information gathering on all the machines that we have, and we have discovered that, okay, this particular guy, the 239 has a lot of things for us, right? So we want to now carry out an exploit. All what we have been doing now is like scanning, vulnerability assessment and all whatnot, right? So I think what we canceled initially is what is bringing all of this. Let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. We're trying to start the database. Without the database being started, it will not allow you to carry out your MSF console. So let's try again. System CTL service. trying to start the PostgreSQL, the database that, okay, failed to find this. Okay, let me try that on Ubuntu and see. Actually, this system is very, very low. Um, so even if we can't continue and finish up while this system is low, I want you to go ahead and try all these things I have tried. And then if you have challenges, we can always chat it out, right? So please, you can try them. Maybe when we meet, hopefully I'll try and see if we can meet tomorrow, then we just continue from here. So I'll sleep the system the way it is. Then from tomorrow, we continue from where we have stopped. I think we have identified a machine that have some vulnerabilities and ports opened. So just what we just need to do is to start up our MSF console, and then we start taking advantage of all of these ports. So I think that's what we'll just do tomorrow when we meet. So we'll just try and see, hopefully, even if it is 1 hour we can spend tomorrow to achieve this, we have to do that. So let's draw the curtain here because my device system is very low. And I think this is what we have been suffering so far. Okay, so somebody wants to say something?
Yeah, something. I'm having